I'm Jody Bentley, actor, producer, speaker, and teacher. Hello, Facebook. I said hello, and the dogs in the background all perked up, thinking someone was in the room. Anyway, welcome to my Bravery in Business series, episode 5. And hello, Christian. And as an actor, I play women who are ambitious, determined, obsessed, and myopic to the extreme. As a producer, I tell stories that raise social consciousness. And as a speaker and teacher, I talk about bravery in business. And that's why I'm doing this video series on Facebook. And to me, bravery is authentically and obsessively living my truth and not compromising my vision for my career or my life. And I do believe that bravery is a choice. It is. And I invite you to be brave with me. So we are on episode 5 on this series. And I don't know if you've recognized the method to my madness. Typically the day before, I do these on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So on Mondays and Wednesdays, I'll post a question or something, and that's what these videos are about. Is that? Hello, Christian. Thank you for joining. So yesterday's question, which I have up here on the other computer, was, would you be friends with the voice in your head? So as I wait for a few other people, I see there's some of us there, but as I wait for a few other people to join us, let's talk about what some people wrote. Would you be friends with the voice in your head? Because look, this video is all about inner voices. We all have a chatter that is constantly going. We have a voice in our head. Not necessarily narrating our lives, but hello, Susan McLeavy. Hello, thank you for joining. This is episode 5 of my Bravery in Business series, and talking about inner voices. So we all have these inner voices in our head. We either give them power and listen to them, or we don't. TJ, welcome. How are you, my friend? Nice to see you. Well, I can't see you, but you can see me. Okay. So inner voices, we all have them. And it's interesting what people said yesterday. Would you be friends with the voice in your head? And a lot of people said depends on which voice it is, depends on which personality it is. And that's very telling, because we do have negative voices. We do have some positive voices. We have that negative voice, you know, maybe when you walk in a room that you're like, oh man, why did I wear what I wear? Oh God, who are these people? Why am I here? No one's going to want to talk to me. All that negative stuff, right? And we have that positive voice that, you know, might look in the mirror in the morning and be like, I look damn good today. We have both of those. It's fun to listen to the positive voice, obviously, but 9 times out of 10, that negative one can take over. Billy Sullivan. Hello, Billy. I love giving you a shout out and saying your full name. I don't know why. I just do. So a lot of us feel a little bipolar in our brains in terms of our inner voices. And a lot of people said, yeah, Alice and Riley, depends on which one. Catherine Clark Gray said, oh God, no. So not friends with the voice in your head. And a lot of people said my voice used to be a jerk and now I kind of like them. So it is an interesting question. And here's what I think. I feel that, that our inner voice is typically a liar. Our inner voice is kind of mean. And our inner voice is there for survival. Think of your inner voice as survival. Your ego, we can call it that perhaps. And our brains are conditioned to always want to survive, right? And a lot of times these negative thoughts that come in is the brain's way of keeping you safe. Is the brain's way of keeping you from being brave, keeping you from taking a risk. So it lies and says all of these things, and all of those, the words that it's saying, actually stems from your, let's call it your main limiting belief, your wound, say. So my wound, my limiting belief that rears its ugly head, rears or rares? Rears, is that I'm not enough. that is what shows up for me all the time. I am not enough. That I get to do more. The more I do, the better I am. And that's how I lived my life for a long time, was constantly going, doing, but it was never, ever enough. So it was a self-fulfilling prophecy, really, that I could never win. So all my negative thoughts stem from, I'm not enough, I'm not good enough. So it's just something to be aware of for you, is to examine and become aware and notice what those negative thoughts are that creep up, right? What are they? And start to look at the themes that appear in that, to really uncover, what is your brain protecting you from? And really, it was only about 6 months ago that I realized how much of a liar my brain is to me. And that's power, though, to recognize that I don't do that. I don't want to choose that I get to choose something else. So, yeah, so for you, begin to examine what those negative thoughts are. Be aware of the themes of them, and then really, you get to choose not to listen. So how do we do that? That sounds much easier than what it is. So my friend Christina Ship, hello Christina, if you're listening, she calls me JoJo. That's her nickname for me, JoJo. And I was kind of like, fine, you can call me JoJo. But now I love it, because the voice in my head, I have reframed and named her JoJo. Because before, I used to be like, oh, God, Jody, you're such a blah. Oh, man, I can't believe you did that. Oh, God, what are they? All that. So now when that thought comes in, and I go, oh, JoJo, thanks for sharing. I'm serious. That's really what I do. So I invite you to name that inner voice in your head, especially if you are not friends with it and it is on a negative loop. Name it, recognize it, embrace it, thank it, and then let's move on. That's really all we get to do. It's about taming that voice. It's about recognizing it, giving it say, because if you don't allow that voice to have its say, it'll come out in self-sabotage, it'll come out in some crazy ways. So you get to listen to it, just not give it power. So I name my inner voice JoJo. So I want to know, what are you going to call your inner voice? And what are you going to say to it when it rears its ugly head? And you want to tone it down and choose to hear something else. Yeah, because listening to that voice, especially that negative voice, is living in survival. Living in survival is always living on the defense. Living in survival is really not being present, because it's coming from a place of fear. Living in survival is not the way to thrive and achieve all the goals that you want to achieve. So let's not live in survival. Though I do want to say, we've all been living in survival for years. Hell, I have as well. And living in survival, listening to that voice, listening to our ego, has gotten us far. It's gotten you to where you are today. So congratulations. That voice has gotten you here now. And if you want to go beyond that, let's reframe it. Let's not listen to that voice. Let's get out of the safety and take a risk and be brave and face that fear and push through it. Because that, again, is what bravery is to me. And again, it's a choice. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. I know there's a few of you on there. If anyone has any questions or wants to talk about anything, I would love to have this dialogue. And I do want to give a shout out to Paul Suda. He had one of the best responses, now I get to find it, on the post yesterday about the inner voice. Oh, Paul, where's your thing? Paul Suda. Oh man, now I'm not going to find it. He basically said his inner voice sings, the voice in my head is constantly singing show tunes and the Superman theme. Well, damn. I love that voice. So how can you reframe your voice to show tunes? No, I'm kidding. You get to find out what your voice is for you to motivate you to keep you on your path. So, great. Well, this is Bravery in Business, Episode 5, Inner Voice. So follow me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram. Go to jodybentley.com and sign up for my newsletter as well. Paul, heard it called the drunk monkey. I like that. Yes, that's a good way to frame it. Because who would ever listen to a drunk monkey? Let's be honest. And that's why I posed that question yesterday is, if your friend ever called you an idiot, if your friend ever told you that you looked terrible, if your friend ever said you looked ugly, if your friend ever said, oh, that's never going to happen for you, would that person be your friend anymore? No! You would kick them out the door and get rid of them, yet that's what lives in our heads and in your head. That's what lives there. So let's kill that drunk monkey. Thank you, Paul. Let's name that drunk monkey. Let's not kill it. Because guess what? You can't. Because your limiting beliefs are there. It's all how you manage them. So let's not kill the drunk monkey. But let's name it, recognize it, thank it, and move on from it. You get to choose to ignore it. And ignoring that voice is bravery. Wholeheartedly bravery. All right. Thank you all for joining me. And so, yes, in the comments here, please write the name of your voice and what you're going to say to it next time it says something negative to you. Because you don't get to listen to a terrible friend. You get to be a good friend to you. You get to love you. Hello, SM. Thanks, Paul. All right, people. This has been my Facebook Live, episode 5. I'll see you next time. Have a great weekend. Bye. Ooh. All right, now bye.